Good morning everyone. Welcome to Ojaswata IAS Academy. So we are trying to cover current affairs in the form of MCQs for helping you in the upcoming exam of UPSC Prelims 2020. So today we will discuss the MCQs of 18th April, but before that, as always, you can download these PPTs from the link given in the description box below. Also, you can adjust the speed of the video where you feel comfortable, and please take a pause when you see question on the screen, answer it first and then see the explanation part, and try to get at least 7 questions correct out of 10. So work hard, be consistent, regularly watch our videos. So let's begin our today's MCQs. So question number 1 is with reference to corporate social responsibility. Statement first, under CSR, companies are required to spend at least 2% of their average net profits generated during the past financial year. Second, the CSR spending is not mandatory for the companies operating in India presently. So here statement first is incorrect and second is also incorrect, so option will be D, none of the above. And statement first is incorrect because companies are required to spend in every financial year at least 2% of their average net profit which is generated during the 3 immediate preceding financial years, not the past one. And statement second is incorrect because CSR is mandatory for companies which are following an amendment to the Companies Act 2013 in 2014. Also, corporate social responsibility acknowledges the corporate duty that it owns to the community within which it operates. And Section 135 of Companies Act prescribes thresholds required to constitute a CSR committee. If net worth is rupees 500 crore or more, if turnover is rupees 1000 crore or more, or net profit amounts to rupees 500 crore or more. Now question number 2 is with reference to renewable energy certificates. So first, it is a mandatory for large power procurers to buy a predetermined fraction of their electricity from renewable sources. Second, the purchaser of the REC is held accountable for the renewable energy generation. So here both the given statements are correct. So option will be C. So renewable energy certificates are a market-based instrument to promote renewable sources of energy and development of the market in electricity, where these green energy certificates certify the bearer that he owns 1 megawatt hour of electricity generated from a renewable energy resource such as solar or wind power. And rest two statements we have already discussed in the question. So the context is that the sale of renewable energy certificates rose over 79% to 8.38 lakh units in March compared to 4.68 lakh in the same month last year. Now question number 3 is with reference to Chagas disease. First, the disease is a vector-borne tropical disease highly prevalent in Indian subcontinent. Second, the parasitic disease does not spread by human to human contact. So here statement first is incorrect and second is correct, so option will be B, that is second only. And this Chagas disease is also known as American trypanosomiasis, and it is a potentially life-threatening illness which is caused by protozoan, namely Trypanosoma cruzi, and it is usually transmitted by feces and urine of triatomine bugs and does not spread by human to human contact. And this disease mainly affects poor people in Latin America and is prevalent in USA, Western Pacific, Europe and Canada. And it is a neglected tropical disease, and the context is that the world community observed World Chagas Disease Day for the first time on 14 April 2020 to increase awareness regarding this disease. So the disease becomes important with the point of view of UPSC. Now question number 4 is Yanomami tribe in news recently is an inhabitant of which of the following region? So the correct answer is it inhabitants in South America. So option will be B. So here is the map is given, and they are the largest relatively isolated tribe in South America, and they live in the rainforest and mountains of northern Brazil and southern Venezuela and practice hunting and slash and burning agriculture. And the context is that a Yanomami indigenous boy died in Brazil after contracting COVID-19 recently, raising fear for the Amazon tribe. Now question number 5 is Kalaripayattu, a form of martial art, is originated from which of the following states? So the correct answer is it originated from Kerala. So option will be C. So Kalaripayattu is considered among the oldest martial arts which still exists, and the word Kalari first appeared in the Tamil Sangam literature to describe both a battlefield and combat arena. And unique feature about Kalaripayattu is that unlike other part of India, warriors in Kerala belong to all castes, including women who also underwent training in Kalaripayattu. So this point becomes important, and the context is that Kerala tourism has geared up for the post-COVID-19 by coming up with 6 theme-based microsites, including Kalaripayattu, in the official website to promote destination and tourism projects. Now question number 6 is, recently Nihangs were in news. So consider the following statement. First, Nihang is an order of Sikh warriors. Second, the word Nihang also occurs in a hymn in the Guru Gobind Sahib. Third, they are characterized by red robe. Fourth, they also carry antiquated, means old style arms such as swords. So here the incorrect statement is statement third. So option will be A if we eliminate statement third. And this one is incorrect because Nihangs are characterized by blue robe. Here you can see in the image. And Khalsa Sikhs are divided into 2 groups. Those who put on blue attire, which Guru Gobind Singh used to wear at the time of battle, like Nihang, and those who do not follow any restriction on the color of their dresses. And important thing is that both of them follow the profession of solidarity and are brave. And Nihangs observe the Khalsa code of conduct in its strictest sense. But recently they were in news because of wrong cause. But you don't need to remember those controversies. You have to focus on how it is important with the point of view of UPSC. Now question number 7 is, recently India's Monetary Policy Committee meeting was in news. So consider the following statement. First, it is responsible for fixing the benchmark interest rate in India. Second, the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee can held at most 4 times a year. Third, the committee is answerable to the Government of India if the inflation exceeds the prescribed range. So as we have to find out incorrect one, so statement second is incorrect one, so option will be B. And statement second is incorrect because here only one word is replaced, that is, the meeting of Monetary Policy Committee are held at least for 4 times a year, not at most. So you have to be very cautious when you read these kind of statements. Also, it publishes its decision after each such meeting. And the committee comprises 6 members, 3 officials of RBI and 3 external members which are nominated by Government of India, and they need to observe a silent period of 7 days before and after the rate decision for utmost confidentiality. And the governor of RBI is the chairperson, who is ex officio of the committee, and decisions are taken by the majority with the governor having the casting vote in case of a tie. Now question number 8 is, recently Apollo 13 mission was in news. So consider the following statement. First, it is also known as a successful failure. Second, Apollo 13 was supposed to make landing near the far Mora of moon. So here both the given statements are correct. So option will be C. So recently NASA marked the 50th anniversary of Apollo 13 crew mission to moon, and it is also known as a successful failure because its crew were able to pull off a safe return despite the spacecraft enduring an explosion. And while Apollo 13 did not land on the lunar surface, it was able to return photographs that it took when it looked around the moon. Now question number 9 is, which of the following political institution is example of direct democracy in India? So the correct answer is C, that is Gram Sabha. So here is the image of Gram Sabha meeting is given, and this body includes all people whose name are present in the electoral roll, and these names are mentioned for the panchayat and is meant for the village level. And the term Gram Sabha is defined under Article 243 Clause B in the Constitution of India. Also, there are 4 kinds of instruments which are very important in the form of direct democracy. You have to mention these instruments in the comment section if you know it, and if you don't know, please Google it. Let me tell you one. One is referendum and rest 3 you know. Also, you should be knowing what is difference between the 4. This might be a potential question. Now question number 10 is, Ligurian Sea is an arm of which of the following water body? So the correct answer is Mediterranean Sea. So here is the map is given. If you remember yesterday's MCQs, we have discussed about Strait of Bonifacio, which is present between Corsica and Sardinia. So if you are focusing on these kind of fine details, you must be knowing that above it there is a Ligurian Sea. And in our various lectures, we have already discussed about Ionian Sea, Adriatic Sea, Tiherian Sea, Mediterranean Sea, now Ligurian Sea. So we have almost covered the geographical area nearby Italy. And because Italy is constantly in news, so there might be a potential question regarding these kind of locations. So that's all in our today's MCQs. Hope you guys are liking the lecture. And in the last, you can see the topics which we have discussed today. If you have any kind of doubt, you can revisit the video. Also subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get the latest update of the videos. Please like, comment and share the video. And if you want to contact us, you can contact through the given details. We are always there to help you, and we are always there to solve your genuine queries. Also, you can know about UPPSC test series for 2020. So stay safe, stay healthy. Have a nice day.